things are just going against Hearts at the moment. It just
It
feels like any wee bad stroke of luck. I mean, I spoke to him at the press conference prior to the game, and he was talking about the previous match against Dundee United. I know I'm winding back before the international break, but he did make the point. Dundee United scored with a deflected goal that crept in the post. At 0-0, Hearts have got a deflected shot that goes like a millimetre past. It just feels like everything that can go wrong for Hearts just now is going wrong. And it's difficult not to feel for him yesterday in some way, shape, even though the calls were exactly correct and Celtic really deserved to win.
It's one of your feelings for him just for the fact that in this terrible run of results that he's on, it's Celtic away. It's the next fixture. Is again another example of wretched luck, a wretched time. But it's not a pretty picture now, is it? When you look at the league table and see Hearts anchored at the bottom, what is it, 1 point from a possible 15?
Oh, it's terrible.
Miles behind Aberdeen. Miles behind Dundee United, even though Dundee United lost today. So the pressure is beginning to build. You can understand why he would be frustrated with these penalty decisions yesterday. But the bottom line is, by hook or by crook, and even though it might have taken them too long, the referee and the VARs, they came to the right conclusion in the end.
Yeah, 100%.
It's worth saying as well that on Hearts fixtures, obviously a really tough one today, but they're away to St Mirren next week, then home to Ross County.
By the way, away to St Mirren's not a nice fixture either.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's tough. Then away to Minsk, then away to Aberdeen. I mean, that is a brutal run, particularly for what they're going through at the minute. I mean, Steven Naismith, I don't even know how to sum up how much pressure he's under. It feels like it is just building week on week on him. It's kind of hard not to feel for him after such a good season last season.
Yeah, they just need to find a way to win a game. They just need to get a win in the ball, and hopefully for their sake that'll get them up and running. But as you said, Daniel, nothing comes easy in this league. They've made heavy weather at the start. Listen, we've spoken to our Blue in the face earlier on the season about the amount of bodies have been brought in to cover the European scene, and has there been too much chopping and changing and all that stuff. So they're just going to need to streamline it and sort it out. I mean, I thought yesterday they did all they could. I mean, listen, Steven Naismith had clearly learned his lesson from watching Rangers a fortnight previously. You don't go press high at Celtic Park or you get ripped to shreds. So it was basically 5, sit in, shield, the midfield players shielding the back boys, and just try and plug all gaps and don't leave any space in behind. But it's just a very, very difficult thing to do,
Sonny, obviously not being there, I just watched the highlights. Tell me, what was your take on Lawrence Shankland? Because see, when you analyse the difference this season for Hearts between what's going on so far this season and what happened last season and the season before, Shankland's contribution has to be a major part of that. And you wonder, as the events of the summer, the fact that he's there was talk of trying to get him a new contract, and that seemed to end badly. Then there was all the links with Rangers. Does Shankland look the same Lon Shankland that we've seen over the last couple of years? Or how did it look at the weekend? Was he as engaged as you would have expected him to be?
Yeah, he was trying. I mean, the one thing I'll say for, he was giving everything he could. The one thing I'll say for Lon Shankland and Kenneth Vargas yesterday was there's not much you can do when there's 70 yards between you and a teammate.
Yeah.
He had no chance yesterday. The midfield guys, and you can't blame them. They were trying, they were tracking runners and they were covering in. And just the way Hearts played the game, the separation between the back line, the midfield boys, and the boys who were Shankland obviously trying to operate in that middle section, but tracking back half the time and trying to help the midfield. Hearts are trying to hit Kenneth Vargas far too early. Celtic are just winning it back, and it's just wave after wave. They can't get out. So he didn't. He had no chance. No chance. Yeah. Now, I can't speak for a lot of the other games. I haven't seen them. By all accounts, he's not up to speed. Of course, he's not up to speed. You look at his goal return, and that's, and you look at Hearts' overall goal return, then it's clear he's not up to speed. But no, there was certainly no lack of effort. I mean, he did look for Lorne yesterday, but I challenge any striker not to look for Lorne the way that game went yesterday. You'd no chance. Yeah,
but you look at the percentage that he was responsible for of Hearts' goals last season, and so it does seem like a fairly obvious start answer. If Hearts are going to pick up, they need him to start scoring goals again.
And the other thing is, our columnist Ryan Stevenson was big on this last year when he said other guys have to chip in. Other people have to come up with goals. Lawrence Shankland was absolutely brilliant last season.
Yeah.
But you and I both know a lot of us know it was one of those seasons that you just rarely have. I was at Paisley one night. He's hooking balls over his shoulder and they're dropping in the top corner for equalisers. He's hitting everything he hits turned to gold last year and hit the net. You don't often get seasons like that where everything just goes in. And Lon Shankland had one of them last year. And the Hearts players didn't chip in to help him enough last year. Now, when he really needs them, there's no one there again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's one of these, and you wonder in the fullness of time, we'll only then will we get the answer. But Hearts were in a situation in the summer where they were asking for significant money if they were going to part company with Lon Shankland. Theory behind that was simple enough, and Steven Naismith explained it. You know, if we let this guy leave for less, you know, his goals could be the difference between us qualifying for Europe again. So he can pay for himself, and they don't need to accept a smaller offer when, you know, his goals could be worth as much as £5 million over the course of a campaign. But that's what I'm saying. We won't know until the end of the season, or at least midway through it. Was that a good decision or a bad decision? Because
we won't know that. I mean, what Hearts have in the first 5 fixtures, Hearts have played Celtic and Rangers. I mean, you never know until you get to the end of the first quarter and you start to get an idea of when things level out. You know, it's been mentioned before. Hearts had a bad start last season, came through it. Lon Shankland's the kind of guy that goes on streaks and runs.
Yes,
he scores 12 and 12 last season. I think he's done it before, 9 and 8, and the season before maybe. So he goes on runs. Hearts can go on a run. I don't think there's any doubt. I think we need to let it level out a wee bit. I understand the temperature is pretty hot around about Tynecastle just now. Hearts fans are not going to enjoy picking up the paper and seeing their team at the bottom of the league. Of course they're not.